Good evening. Okay, let's try that again. Good evening.
On behalf of the Alumni Board, President Clarence Wyatt and First Lady Logan Stone, welcome to the 2023 Alumni Impact Awards. Thank you for
Coming home to help us celebrate the accomplishments
of Monmouth and her alumni. I'm Hannah Maher, Vice President for Development and College Relations, and it's my pleasure to begin tonight's program.
Before we do get to the program award presentations this evening, we'd like to recognize some of our special guests who are in attendance. First, I would like to recognize the true visionaries of the institution, the Monmouth College Board of Trustees, whose servant leadership and support make our college vibrant and prosperous, ensuring Monmouth's future for many years to come. Trustees, would you please stand for recognition?
I would also like to recognize our Alumni Board. The Alumni Board are our eyes and ears of our Alumni Association. The board has undertaken many initiatives over the
past few years, and they will be around all weekend to make
your homecoming very enjoyable. Alumni Board members, please stand and be recognized. Our Emeriti faculty and staff, in addition to our current faculty and staff, continue to leave a lasting impact on the college.
Because of their commitment to education and the success of each and every student, I'd like to recognize
them this evening as well. Would all Emeriti and current faculty and staff please stand and be
recognized.
A weekend like this does not
come together overnight.
The good work and
support of the entire community is involved, but let me acknowledge a few folks. Our food service and catering team, Aramark, our facilities and custodial staff, our partners in the communication office, who you will notice more fully on campus as paparazzi this weekend. Assistant Director of Campus Events, Meredith McGarry, who arranges many events such as the Homecoming Parade and ensures much of our AV technology is handled, and certainly the entire staff within the Development and Alumni Relations Office who orchestrated so very much of this. Will you please join me in showing your appreciation to all of these individuals.
We have several alumni here with us tonight celebrating a reunion.
Those celebrating a milestone
reunion this weekend are the classes of 1983,
1988, 1993, 1998, 2003, 2008, 2013, and 2018. I also want to take the opportunity
to invite
you to join us for two other award and recognition
ceremonies happening over the course of the weekend.
Tomorrow morning at 8:30
a.m., three impressive fighting Scots will be inducted into the M Club Hall of Fame.
Michael Blodgett, class of
2011,
James Purak, class of 2008, and Luke Reschke, class of 2009. Also tomorrow at 10 a.m.,
three alumni will be inducted into the Order of Omega Fraternity and Sorority Hall of Fame. John Corson, a member of the class of 1964,
as well as Tau Kappa Epsilon,
Donald Mack McKinley, a
1950 graduate and member of Sigma Phi Epsilon,
and Hillary Hopkinson Scott, a
2007 graduate of Kappa Kappa Gamma. We honor these Greek recipients for their service to their fraternities post-baccalaureate. We hope you will join us tomorrow for the official induction ceremonies as we recognize all of these outstanding alumni. I'd now like to welcome to the podium
Mr. Mark Tupper, class of 1994 and president of the Monmouth College Alumni Board, to help us kick off our award presentation.
Thank you, Hannah. Our next portion of the program this evening is to recognize our outstanding alumni for their accomplishments outside of the hallways of Monmouth College. The first 5 recipients we are honoring tonight were nominated by members of the Alumni Association and voted on by our Alumni Board. Each year, the Alumni Board receives several quality nominations and has a very difficult time choosing the award winners. I want to thank the board for their diligence in making these tough decisions, and tonight's award winners can be especially proud to have been chosen from such a competitive list of nominations. The Alumni Board is responsible for making the final selection of our first 5 awards this evening: Family of the Year, Young Alumnus Award, Distinguished Service Award, Distinguished Alumnus Award, and the Hatch Award for Distinguished Teaching. At this time, I'd like to ask Hannah to return to the podium to introduce tonight's award winners. Thank you.
Not too far from here, on the wall of Glen Gymnasium in the college's Health Athletic Center, there's a banner that honors some of our past championship-winning basketball teams. The first team on that banner is the 1937-38 team, and one of its players was Clarice Dew. Clarice was the youngest of 3 brothers from the town of Monmouth who attended Monmouth College. The first was J.R. Dew from the class of 1932, followed by Leroy Dew in the class of 1934, and then finally by Clarice in the class of 1938. Clarice went on from his days at Monmouth to serve as vice president at Midwestern United Life Insurance Company in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was very sad news that the past few years we lost Clarice at the age of 103. He is survived by his beloved wife of 76 years, 1941 alumna Elizabeth Johnson Dew, who is now over 100 herself. Betty is unable to be with us tonight, but several Dew family members are here. That includes 3 of Leroy Dew's children who attended Monmouth: Larry Dew and his wife Judy Burmeister Dew, both class of 1966, and their daughter Laura; Mary Dew Bryant, class of 1969, and her husband LT; and Lindy Dew Brown, class of 1970, and her husband Terry. Also here tonight are Clarice and Betty's 2 children, Sharon Stranges and her husband Nils, and David Dew and his wife Kathy. Judy, Mary, and Lindy were all members of Kappa Delta during their time at Monmouth. Larry and Judy, upon their Monmouth graduation, used their liberal arts education to serve in Guam as teachers for 2 years. They have remained lifelong educators. Larry ultimately retired as a superintendent of schools, and Judy as a teacher of gifted students. Lindy and Mary joined their brother and sister-in-law in their passion for education. Lindy served as an elementary teacher her entire career, and Mary working with special needs students. It is one thing to consider the Dew family tree and all its many branches, but when you envision another tree, one that represents all the young lives who were touched by the Dews who went into education, and how those roots trace back to Monmouth College and to professors who were here when the Dew brothers were on campus, it's really quite something. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce the Dew family as this year's Family of the Year at Monmouth College. Representing the family tonight is Larry Dew, a past recipient of our Young Alumnus Award. Larry and the Dew family.
Thank you for honoring the Dew family today. I would like to introduce the members. Thank you for honoring the Dew family today. This is a story of 6 family townies, all born and raised, educated right here, and for whom the college has been a touchstone for almost 100 years. My father Leroy and his brothers Robert and Clarice were born in the 1930s and were raised on South 11th Street. All 3 attended Monmouth during the Depression in the 1930s, getting up at 4 a.m. to deliver milk for the family dairy before attending class. Although they lived at home, all 3 belonged to a fraternity. Robert was a catcher on the baseball team. Clarice was on the basketball squad. They worked their way through school with various jobs, including driving baseball, basketball, and track teams to away teams using a car their father, Wilmer, had adapted just for that purpose. I believe it was a late 1930 Packard of some sort, and 1920 Packard of some sort, and they could carry 9 passengers plus a driver. The teams not only got there when they needed to go, but each trip helped pay for tuition. Robert, we've heard about his background there. The 3 boys supported the school and its programs until the end of their lives. After retiring to Monmouth, Robert became a regular at home games and a senior booster to the young men on college teams. Through the front window of their home on 6th Street, 424 North 6th Street, catty corner from Buster Kettlelog, Leroy and Mary literally saw the campus grow. Claris regularly followed the school's new developments in athletics. He and Betty were mainstays at the class reunions and alumni gatherings. My sister and I grew up at North 6th Street, 424 North 6th Street, and the college was practically at our doorstep. Mary and Lindy babysit for children of professors and administrators. When they couldn't do it, they called on Larry. I sneaked into the football and basketball games. One of my first jobs was working for buildings and grounds at the college. President Gibson ordered that the weeds between the cracks in the sidewalks were to be pulled before graduation the next day. The Green Army gave me a shovel and a rake to do that. Kind of impossible. I went home at noon, and you'll see the results here. Dad was not happy when he found out I used his best Sears and Roebuck screwdriver to escape. We attended Second Presbyterian Church, now Faith Presbyterian Church, which is affiliated with the college. The college president came from there. The college president sat there. Dr. Thiessen and staff and students were our Sunday school teachers. Dr. Thiessen set up a still in the Sunday school class in the 1950s, producing pure alcohol. Took a piece of white bread, put it in there, and the bread turned black. And he said, "That's what's going to happen to your stomach if you drink it." But it was controversial, needless to say. Encouraged by our dad's boss, Ken Adelman, our mother, Mary, worked for the college more than 20 years in the alumni office, so she and our father could provide us for a college education. We're very grateful. My mother made $2,025 for a number of years, and they qualified for any aid there could be because their income was less than $10,000 a year. Mary, Lindy, and I became educators. We've used what we've learned, you've heard, in far-flung places: Guam, Southeast West Georgia, Texas, Ireland, and Papua New Guinea. Over our careers, we've worked with kids with special needs and gifted students starting from preschool to high school. We are thankful for the education we received at college, at Monmouth College, and its impact on our lives. We are honored by this award. We know our parents, our uncles, and our aunts will be quite proud as well. They considered Monmouth the portal for their descendants to enter such diverse fields as education, medicine, law, engineering, business, and the military. We are grateful.
Good evening. My name is Zach Edmonds, one of the individuals that is celebrating a milestone this weekend. I'll be only 15-year reunion. And I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement. Some of you might know that the alum I'm introducing tonight is the co-author of a new children's book, Monmouth College A to Z. And in that spirit, this introduction will use exactly half the alphabet. To borrow a page from his book, A stands for the Alumni Board, of which Roy serves. He's one of 3 Alumni Board members who is a representative of the Monmouth College Board of Trustees. Y, of course, stands for Young Alumnus Award that Roy Sy is receiving tonight. It is presented for exceptional achievements by an alum who is 35 years or younger. S is a pretty big letter for Mr. Stands for the company for which he works for, Sinclair Mineral and Chemical Company. It also stands for sales, which Roy knows quite a bit about. In his first year with Sinclair, he took over a dying territory and did more than $1 million in sales. Today, he is a regional sales director for Sinclair, but also S stands for Sigma Phi Epsilon. Roy is not only an active member in his fraternity when he was a student, but he has continued his connection with SIGA as an alum. C is another big letter for Roy. He married his college classmate Also, a fourth seat, their daughter Clara, is here making her first official Monmouth College visit. One day, in the not too distant future, it could also stand for CEO, as he's on the executive management track at Sinclair. I stands for implementation. Roy has implemented systems for medical, aerospace, defense, transportation, and alternative industries across the world, with a portfolio of more than 200 customers and more than $10 million in sales. B, D, and F represent just some of the companies he consults for, Boeing, Deere, and Facebook. L stands for leadership, a trait that Roy not only possesses in his profession, but within SIGEP and his community. M stands for MBA, which Roy pursued and obtained through night classes at Loyola University's Quinlan School of Business. And by the way, Quinlan also fulfills the elusive letter Q in this introduction. I also found a Z. Just kidding. As a student, Roy earned SIGEP's J. Edward Zollinger Award, which is presented to an outstanding senior in each of the fraternity's districts. Finally, I will leave you with E. As his nominator wrote, Roy is the epitome of what it means to be an outstanding young alumnus. He excels in his profession and is extremely devoted alumnus of Monmouth College. Now that you've heard about him from A to Z, which is available in the bookstore, it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium this year's Young Alumnus Award recipient, Mr. Roy Tsai.
Wow, thank you, Zach. I should have hired you to help write the book there. Well, thank you for all your kind words and the shameless plug for my children's book. I too will echo your plug and encourage everyone to stop by the bookstore to check out not only Monmouth College A to Z, but also all of the other wonderful Monmouth gear that all of you desperately need for your closets. Thank you so much to the Alumni Board for recognizing me with this honor. I'm very humbled to be this year's recipient, as Monmouth continues to have a special place in my heart. My Monmouth story began in 2007 during my sophomore year at Buffalo Grove High School, located in the Chicago Northwest suburbs. My chemistry teacher, Kevin Troe, a 2002 Monmouth graduate, spoke very highly about Monmouth and had his pennant proudly displayed in the classroom. The only thing that I remember thinking at the time was Monmouth was a very funny name for a school. Fast forward to my senior year, a large majority of my peers were planning to attend the University of Illinois or Illinois State University. I too was applying to these schools, but Mr. Troe challenged me to think about a smaller school where I could experience more. I trusted his opinion and told my parents about Monmouth later that night. The next morning, I woke up to my mom's scribbled notes about Monmouth that she had done research throughout the night. We agreed that it might be a good fit and scheduled a campus tour. I remember pulling up to campus and getting the feeling that many of us in this room have experienced. It's indescribable, yet I knew it felt right. I still get this feeling every time I pass the baseball fields off 34 as I pull into town. Monmouth College means the absolute world to me, and so does this award. If you ask my wife, she will tell you that I'm obsessed with Monmouth College. And it's true. I always buy something new from the bookstore when I'm here. We've gone through about 5 Monmouth College water bottles at our home. I have an MC flag hanging in the garage. My truck has the Monmouth College license plate frame. We had a special Monmouth picture taken at our wedding. And if you didn't already know, my wife and I wrote a Monmouth College theme children's book. It is available at the bookstore. I promise that is the last and final plug. But needless to say, the obsession is real. There are a myriad of reasons why Monmouth makes a lasting impact, but simply put, I believe my obsession comes from relationships. I'm a firm believer that relationships are everything in life. Relationships build trust, and once there is trust, anything is achievable. 90% of the collegiate experience happens outside of the stereotypical classroom setting, which means there is a tremendous amount of time to build and strengthen relationships here at Monmouth. Whether it was with my brothers in SIGEP, pulling an all-nighter, attempting to study an HT with my chemistry and biochem cohort, all 8 of us at the time, performing on stage at the Wells Theater, or simply visiting with a professor just to talk about life, the relationships I made defined my collegiate experience, not the specific grades that I earned on my exams. The relationships I made at Monmouth allowed me to take risks, ask questions, learn about bizarre topics, integrated studies curriculum, and instilled confidence in me as I navigated a new career in the business world, one that I didn't major in, yet still possess the required skills to excel at. I am almost done, baby. Relationships are extremely valuable, and without them, I know my life would be very different. This is why I must try my best to give back to Monmouth. One of my mentors always said, if you find an organization that positively impacts your life, consider giving back either your time, your talent, or your treasure. I'm proud to say that I've done all three in some capacity to Monmouth, as there is a debt here that I can never repay. There are so many people here that I could thank for making an impact on my life, yet I don't want the Academy of Work Music to start playing, so I need to make this brief. But I publicly want to thank the Education and the Chemistry Department, specifically my advisors, Tom Sargent and Audra Goach, for their commitment to my success, their guidance inside and outside of the classroom, and for working together, drafting a special curriculum, allowing me to graduate in 4 years. My parents also thank you for doing that. I also want to take an opportunity to thank some of the Dean of Students, Dean Karen Orgazalik, Dean Michelle Merritt, and Dean Jackie Condon for making an impact on my life and providing an opportunity for me to excel outside of the classroom. To all my SIGEP brothers, especially my fellow brothers of 2013, and big brother Jack Clifford for allowing me to grow professionally and personally, teaching me about brotherly love and trusting me to lead our beloved fraternity. And to my much older big brothers, Brad Nardstad and Tom Sargent, for their everlasting guidance, opening their homes and networks for me, and always endorsing my talents in every conversation. And most importantly, I want to thank my friends and family. Thank you to my parents and my younger brother for loving me, always supporting my goals and aspirations, allowing me to join SIGEP, for driving me to Monmouth to visit campus for the first time and on move-in day, and for being here today. Thank you to my daughter Clara, who you heard a couple minutes ago. She is the absolute light of my life, and allowing me to be your daddy is one of the greatest joys I have. Some days are hard when I can only see you for a few hours, but your smile makes my heart full. I will always love and support you, and can't wait for Monmouth move-in day in 2039. A quick special thank you to our Monmouth puppy, Jamie, for always keeping me company during our Zoom calls and for all of her snuggles, as without our Monmouth relationships, Janie would never be in our lives. And my biggest thank you to my wife, Colleen, my high school sweetheart and fellow fighting Scott. You have unconditionally loved me and supported me for nearly half my life, and I would not be the person or father that I am today without you by my side. You make me whole, and I love you so much. Thank you again, Monmouth College, for impacting my life. I'm forever grateful and proud to be a fighting Scott. Oh, did you want to say hi? Say hi. Thank you, Clara. Do you want to say hi? Wow. Okay, we'll get a picture here. Awesome. Thank you.
I don't claim to know much about forest fires. My knowledge is limited to what I see on national news or read on social media almost nightly, it seems, and to those few weeks we had earlier this summer when our sky here in western Illinois turned hazy from the Canadian wildfires hundreds of miles to our north. But as I was putting this introduction together, I did learn some other quick facts. So far, in 2023, nearly 44,000 wildfires have burned nearly 2.4 million acres. Last year, that figure approached 7 million acres. There have only been 4 times in the past decade when the annual total was more than 7 million acres, which is larger than 8 of our 50 states. Someone who already knew that, and pretty much all there is to know about forest fires, is this year's recipient of Monmouth College's Distinguished Service Award. Chuck Bushy is a worldwide consultant for wildfires, recognized as a leader on how to fight them and also how to prevent them in the first place. And when I say worldwide, I'm being very literal. His work has taken him to South America, Europe, Australia, in addition to the he's done right here at home in these United States. Chuck is the past president of the International Association of Wildland Fire and of Montana Prescribed Fire Services, where he has performed duties as a fire ecologist, prescribed fire specialist, fire behavior analyst, and fuel mitigation specialist. Previously, he worked at the USDA Forest Service at Missoula Fire Science Laboratory and at Systems for Environmental Management for fire research topics dealing with post-fire effects, fire use, wilderness fires, fire behavior, and smoke management. A few of his fire qualifications have included fire behavior analyst, wildfire arson investigator, and strike team leader. He holds a master's degree from Southern Illinois University and has authored more than 50 publications and reports. Wildfires have grown to be even larger than the issue from when Smokey the Bear used to run ads regularly on TV, for those of you remember that, with more large fires, more extreme fire behavior, and more acres burned annually on average. Helping us fight them and prevent them since he graduated from Monmouth College nearly a half century ago has been Chuck Bushy, and it's my privilege tonight to introduce him as this year's Distinguished Service Award recipient.
Isn't he a little bit over the top? This Distinguished Service Award was an unexpected honor. When I was told that I had been selected by Zach, I was doing yard work and had to sit down to comprehend first that it was true and not a hoax. And second, why me? Receiving this award and being invited to make a presentation during Golden Scotch weekend on my career initiated a self-examination of what I've accomplished over the last 50 years since graduation. This was accounting that I had not really done previous. And I've covered a lot in my wildland fire career, nationally and internationally, during that period, and continue to follow new challenging paths going forward. In many respects, it was a combination of being in the right spot at the right time, or depending on your perspective, the wrong time, as our global fire seasons on this fire planet have increased in duration and intensities, creating previously unimaginable challenges to our flora and fauna and our human societal infrastructure. Monmouth College is where I began the groundwork for what would end up being my eventual career. Unlike many, I had a vague idea of what direction I might head in. With luck, lots of networking, persistence, and patience, here I am. So I want to thank Monmouth College and the biology department and Dr. Bowman, if he was still with us, for getting the ball rolling. Monmouth College gave me the educational background in botany and fire to jump in with both feet. Monmouth College also provided me with a social skill set necessary to make the transition from a semi-formed adult student to finding a position in the world that was of service to nature and society. If I may, there's a fraternal declaration that was drummed into me during my freshman year that I think is appropriate to interpreting the role of Monmouth College and the transitions of life as we travel through. So if I may paraphrase a short section, man is a social being. Our whole structure evidences the absolute interdependence of man. Reclusiveness is dwarfing the man's best qualities. Intimate and frequent contact with our fellows is necessary for symmetrical development. Consequently, organizations such as Monmouth College, whose purpose is to promote these ends, ought to be fostered and encouraged. We believe that at no other period in the life of a man is the time more opportune for the fostering of such qualities than during the years of his college career. Then mind and heart are in their most receptive condition, for it is this formative period of life. We regard mental development as of vital importance, but of equal consequence is the acquisition of a knowledge of men and a proper conception of their relations to one another. This is not obtained from texts and lectures, but from actual and intimate intercourse with men. Thank you, Monmouth College, for the formative, personal, and educational experience and the ability to receive this award. Thank you very much.
Each year, Monmouth College presents its Distinguished Alumnus Award, which honors exceptional career achievements, outstanding contributions and accomplishments, leadership, and civic, cultural, or charitable involvement. The list of past recipients is quite impressive, and to that list tonight, we're adding an individual who meets all requirements for the honor and who is a tremendous example of a Monmouth alum who has been loyal to his alma mater throughout his life. Dick Yonke's Monmouth education served as a springboard to the success he's experienced, first as a Navy line officer aboard the USS Macy with 2 overseas deployments in the 1960s, then throughout his 40-year marketing and management career with John Deere. Dick held a variety of management experiences in numerous marketing and manufacturing locations for John Deere, including an assignment as marketing manager for Australia and New Zealand. He retired in 2006 as Vice President of Worldwide Agricultural Parts Marketing. As his nominator wrote, Dick served the company extremely well, and that is something we can also say about his service to his alma mater. Dick was elected to the Board of Trustees in 1994 and joined its executive board in 2004. During his 25 years of board service, he was also chair of our admissions committee. My time at the college has overlapped with about a decade of his board service, and I can certainly vouch for the following words his nominator wrote. Dick is an exemplary alum and trustee with a great love for Monmouth College. His dedication and commitment to the college are incredible, and the college community is fortunate and blessed to have him. I couldn't agree more. Even today, more than 60 years from when he began his time as a Monmouth student, Dick is making a difference at his alma mater. His and his wife's recent gift to the college, which was part of the successful Light This Candle campaign, established the Yonke Business and Economics Endowed Internship Fund. The first student to benefit from the fund now has a related position in the National Football League, and we're sure that many similar success stories will follow in the years to come. It is my pleasure now to welcome to the podium this year's recipient of Monmouth College's Distinguished Alumnus Award, Dick Yonke.
First of all, thanks to the Alumni Board and to the college for this award. I can assure you it's received with humility, appreciation, and gratitude. You know, I was the youngest of 5 in my family and first to attend college. The son of loving parents who both had an 8th grade education and limited financial resources. In December of 1962, as a high school senior, it found me with $6 in the bank and uncertainty about how, where, or why I should go to college. Very fortunately for me, Keith Follett, who was a Monmouth graduate, my coach, my teacher, my mentor, he suggested that I should consider Monmouth College, and he would help me get there. Interestingly enough, his wife, Jean, was also a Monmouth College graduate. And as some of you may know, her father was Dr. Sam Thompson, who headed the philosophy department here at Monmouth College for many years as a renowned faculty member. I think it's testimony, and you've heard it from other recipients this evening, of that importance of direct contact with someone you trust in terms of how it influences your decisions as it relates to attending college, and it's certainly true today. So those of you who are alums and know young people, continue to contact them and bring them our way, if you will. Grants and aid, scholarships, campus and summer jobs,
very helpful faculty and administrators made my education possible. I was an average student. If you talk to some of my fraternity brothers who are here tonight, and some of the faculty, they would probably tell you that I was one who never let books interfere with my education. The bottom line is, however, that Monmouth prepared me for a rewarding career in business. It gave me skills to ever learn and adapt. It instilled a sense of value for family, and I'm grateful my daughter Heather has been able to accompany me on this trip. And certainly a sense of value for community and service to those communities that you're a part of. My Monmouth education also gave me the opportunity and the privilege to give back to the college financially and in service as a trustee. I'm reminded of some years ago, my wife's father was having a very serious surgery, and it was not necessarily likely that he would survive. And I vividly remember that he looked up into our eyes and he said, "You know what? It's been a great ride." And I would share with you today, for me, it's been a great ride, and I hope so far. So again, thanks to you all for being here. Thanks to the Alumni Board. I appreciate the recognition and the award. Thank you.
The fifth award we are presenting this evening is not awarded to a Monmouth College graduate,
but rather to a member of our faculty who has had
significant impact on our graduates. To present the Hatch Award for Distinguished Teaching, please welcome Dr. Mark Wilhite, Dean of the Faculty and Vice President for Academic Affairs.
At the end of the last Faculty Senate meeting, this year's winner of the Hatch Award for Excellence in Teaching looked at the two of us remaining in the room and said, "Sorry, I have to change." And then he proceeded to don a 1930s era prison uniform, replete with stripes, a pillbox hat, and handcuffs. And then he walked down the Wallace Hill to go teach his 1 o'clock class. Such are the lengths to which Professor Andre Audet goes in order to immerse his students in experiences they might not expect, but will never forget. As likely to put himself on trial as a wicked political figure, allowing his students to prosecute or defend him using all they've learned in his classes, as he is to lecture on the nuances of constitutional law, Andre has made deep and lasting impressions on all he's encountered here since his arrival at Monmouth in 2017. An undergraduate in political science, justice, and peace studies at the University of St. Thomas, Andre graduated from the University of Notre Dame with his doctorate in political science in 2016. His work in the intersections of religion, race, and political activity was extended during his year as a postdoctoral fellow at Notre Dame, just before he came here to Monmouth. Here, Andre has been a force in our campus life through and through. He's revived our moot court program involving both local and alumni legal professionals and occasional others as judges and de facto coaches in the early rounds. His mentorship of this program has grown it from a few participants in its first years to a regular number in the teens, which means the debates are robust, lively, and persuasive. He's also started a great lecture series on our home football Saturdays so that our pre-gaming has the intellectual possibilities that we'd hope for on a campus such as ours. In addition to serving as a faculty advisor to the Midwest Journal of Undergraduate Research, publishing in venues such as Religion and Politics, American Politics Research, and the Journal of Happiness Studies, as well as being cited in The Economist. I'm going to drop that in there again, as well as being cited in The Economist. And winning the Joan R. Gunderson Award for junior faculty last year, Andre is also a two-term faculty senator, elected by his peers to represent their interests. Although he and I don't always agree on process, in fact, we almost never agree on process, I deeply respect, I may regret it too. I'm going to try that sentence again. Although he and I don't always agree on process, I deeply respect the careful, principled viewpoint he brings to any discussion. And yet I can't quite erase the vision of him as a prisoner heading off to class, almost literally cuffed to his subject. For me, that says everything about why he is such a trusted, effective, and popular teacher. He puts the student experience first, engaging them, challenging them, informing them, and giving them many opportunities to deepen their knowledge in both traditional and surprising ways. Please join me in welcoming this year's winner of the Hatch Award for Excellence in Teaching, Professor Andre Audet.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm very honored to be recognized with this year's Hatch Teaching Award. It is humbling to look at the list of previous award winners, many of whom are valued colleagues, mentors, and friends, and to be included in such a list of incredible teachers. I also want to give a quick shout out to my kids who are fighting over their lunch boxes in the second row right there. Off until the end of the speech. But I did want to use my short time to present some reflections on teaching, inspired by a famous book entitled All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. I am, coincidentally, after I wrote this, was asked to speak at actually my undergraduate roommate's wedding, and we'll be talking on the same topic, not revolving teaching, but about love. And so this now will be 2 speeches that I will present on a book that I have not read. But I've long threatened to find my kindergarten diploma and hang it in my office, because I think the most valuable lessons about teaching and learning are discovered in kindergarten. So here are 5 short ones. Number 1, indulge your curiosity and sense of fun. Most of my best teaching activities are derived from my wife, Caitlin, who's also in the second row. And I often ask her, Caitlin, what should I do in class tomorrow? And she usually responds jokingly with something like, build a fort. But that's something I can work with, and so students in my religion and politics class do a class session where we build a fort to learn about some religion and politics concepts. So learning should be fun and to generate a curiosity to continue learning. Number 2, explore everything. Education should push the boundaries of what is conventional and commonly understood. No topic should be off limit, because often the deepest learning comes from exploring the depths of our minds and our world, like whether space aliens have constitutional rights, or why students obey me when I force them to engage in a space unicorn dance party under duress of their grade. Education is about exploring uncharted territory. Number 3, sharing is caring and it can be fun. I'm a proponent that the best way to learn is to hear from different perspectives, including those that challenge your own. One reason why I love teaching is that I get to learn from students, probably more than they ultimately learn from me. I'm grateful for the many who have shared their own experiences and ideas in class to contribute to my learning and to their fellow students' education. So thanks for caring to engage, it's been fun. Number 4, include everyone. My grandma helped my kindergarten class create a quilt where we each submitted an individual square about us and stitched them all together. And my square apparently included my dream of my future where I would wear roller skates and googly eyes when I got older. Many years after we graduated, the quilt was passed down among our friends as a wedding gift as everyone got married. It was much more meaningful because everyone had a chance to contribute something to the quilt and to the class. And likewise, I think every teacher should try to give each student their chance to shine. And number 5, the cheesy one, to love. Of all the things that I've written in my career so far, not the one cited by The Economist, the one that I am proudest of is a short newsy article that I wrote about why college professors should tell their students that they love them. Although loving students looks somewhat different in kindergarten and college, I hope that my students leave my classes knowing that they are loved, that they're supported, and that they belong. I would wager to say that maybe not all education, but the best education, happens when people know that they are loved. So I'm sure there are more lessons, but these 5 raise to the top as the type of classroom that I try to create at Monmouth College. And very grateful to receive this award and immensely grateful to be in a career and at a place where I can indulge my sense of curiosity and fun, where I can explore anything, where we can share ideas, where everyone can be included, and where there can be love. Thank you.
Even though his playing days preceded my time at Monmouth, I know that today's Hall of Achievement inductee was an outstanding running back on some very strong Fighting Scots football teams in the mid-1980s. In his junior and senior seasons, the Scots lost just 2 games, the latter one in the Midwest Conference championship game. He was a great teammate, a great leader. He was also on another team during his days as a Monmouth student, and it was on that Army Reserve Corps unit where our honoree found a team for which he would play his entire professional career. That ROTC experience served as a springboard to an outstanding military career for the person whom we are honoring tonight. After completing Monmouth's ROTC program, our honoree was commissioned as a second lieutenant. The year he graduated, he was commissioned as a Medical Service Corps officer and later became a quartermaster officer in the Illinois National Guard. During his career, he served as a company commander and as commander of several battalions and brigades. He was also deputy commander of Task Force White Eagle of the Polish Land Forces. He served as the first Joint Chief of Staff for the Illinois Joint Force Headquarters of the Illinois National Guard, and the Chief of Staff for the National Guard Joint Staff for the National Guard Bureau. He also served as the Chief of Sustainment for the storied 3rd Army, U.S. Army Central. He has supported military operations in Bolivia, Germany, and Poland. In 2008, he deployed to Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and to Afghanistan in 2013 to support Operation Enduring Freedom. From 2015 to 2017, he traveled back to the Middle East multiple times in support of Operations Inherent Resolve, Freedom Sentinel, and Spartan Shield. Our Hall of Achievement inductee retired from the Illinois National Guard 4 years ago. He was praised at that time for his, quote, talents as an innovative leader and visionary, which had long-lasting positive effects on the Illinois National Guard. He was also credited for his energy and for his ability to build teams. He honed these attributes as a student at Monmouth. He learned that to be a great teammate, a great leader, is to act with integrity, to strive for excellence, to put the team, the mission, the cause before oneself. We certainly honor him for the accomplishments in his career. More fundamentally, though, we honor him for these attributes. Yes, he was part of many victories, but he knows and he teaches us that the physical triumphs on the football field, on the battlefield, are first won in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirits. Tonight, I am proud to present for induction into the Monmouth College Hall of Achievement an outstanding leader of men and women. We are proud to call Brigadier General Chris Lawson one of our own. Chris.
Thank you, President Wyatt. I will tell you, for your kind remarks, our 14th president, ladies and gentlemen, I was 170 years during your tenure, and the accomplishments that we visibly see every time we come and visit. It's really outstanding. The increased capacities as a higher institution of learning and the competitive nature that we must exhibit for the future of this institution, you've done all of us proud, and I'm so proud to be here today and to witness what you've done. That's incredible. Just listening to a speech the other day of a quantum physics professor who's talking about looking at the concept of infinity to the forward, and then he recognized that I have to now study it in reverse. And he was thinking about how difficult it was going to be, and then he met this girl in college and fell in love, and it didn't seem to be so important anymore. And so I will tell you, this is key to some of the remarks that I will make today as well. I am honored and exceptionally humbled to be here today because I'm in the room with my wife, my guardian angel, my family, who I went to school with. I will tell you, I have my brother John here, my brother Alex here, class of '88, class of '87, class of '89. All of us received advanced degrees. I also have my sister Steph, who's here with us tonight, who also went to school down the street at Western Illinois University. And then I also have my little brother Travis here, who's pursuing his advanced degree in engineering. And I will tell you, it's paramount to what we do. I also would like to add, we are sitting here on top of the very land that my brother John and his wife Susan lived and raised their first child, Sarah. Right here. And that building over there, I ran track around the swimming pool on a dirt track. Dan Cotter knows this. And then Dan and I would go to, we'd go get 20 cheeseburgers at parties. Have a driver's license. And so he got it when he was 20 when he got here. And so don't laugh, Byron, because you're part of this too. I will say that I'm inspired here this afternoon. My family came from nothing. We were on public assistance, food stamps, free lunch program in Hamilton. The blue cards for people that paid and yellow or pink cards for the free ones. So we would run to the lunchroom first, so nobody would see that ours was pink. It was incredible when I thought about it. My dad was a steel mill worker from Pittsburgh in the 60s, 70s when steel mills closed down. So we moved around a lot. And so during that collapse, we ultimately resulted in moving to Texas and then getting a job in Hamilton, Illinois. And Hamilton was the sweetest place I had ever lived. I'd only lived there for a couple of years before I got accepted to go to Monmouth. And I will tell you that when I came here, I was invested by the teachers, by the faculty, by the coaches, and in me as a person. I was surprised that somebody was that interested in somebody that just grew up, went to a little school in a little town in Illinois, and that they would spend that much time to invest in me as an individual. I had problems with reading, I had problems with speaking, and Dr. DeYoung helped me with those things. Dr. Keith was my landlord and would help me with studying. I will tell you that Coach Haynes was my mentor. Steve Bloomer, also who's here tonight, was one of my mentors throughout my whole entire military career, all based from here. So I will tell you, most importantly, my time at Monmouth inspired the love of learning, the development of complex thinking, problem solving. These talents have been exceptionally beneficial in an ever-changing world that is complex and exceptionally dangerous. And It is these gifts, this investment, that was not just limited to me, but my two brothers as well. We all together have served over 80 years of military service. My brother John, in the Army, and I retired as a 1-star, as a brigadier general, and I was presidentially appointed and Senate confirmed as a 2-star, but due to medical issues, I was not able to take that promotion. But it's okay, because I've enjoyed my family so much in that time that I've been home. I will say that I've had a chance to advise the things that I'm most proud of. I've had a chance to advise some of the most senior military members in our national defense enterprise. So Lloyd Austin, our Secretary of Defense, I worked for him in CENTCOM when he was the CENTCOM commander. I've had a chance to work with Mark Milley on several occasions, the Joint Chief of Staff and his previous Joe Dunford. I've also worked with General Milley, General McConnell, who's the Chief of Staff of the Army. I deployed with both of them in Afghanistan. I worked directly for the Chief of Staff of the Army at the time, who was the commander of the 101st Airborne, who was General McConnell. And I will tell you, those were tough times. I was impressed with the opportunity of being afforded this as a part of the National Guard Empowerment Act. Our chief of the National Guard Bureau became a member of the Joint Chiefs. And with that new responsibility required a responsibility to advise the most senior members of our military service on matters of national security, diplomacy, war plans, these types of things. And these were roles and responsibilities the National Guard had not been a part of before. So it was very, very difficult time for our institution to put together a group of people that have been educated, trained, developed to provide this sort of knowledge and leadership. And I was proud to be a part of a group of people that were asked to do that. In my time in the Illinois National Guard, I will tell you that there was no other time, previous or since, that was more complex and more different. We were trying to tell a workforce of National Guardsmen who used to join to serve 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer, get your college paid for. And then 9/11 happened. And it wasn't if you were going to deploy, it was just when. And then you had to prepare them to do such. You had to prepare them to fight, and you had the warrior spirit, you had to prepare them, you had to make them ready, you had to give them equipment to succeed. These were all exceptional challenges for us. And then at that time, we were deploying 2,000 guardsmen a year. We were going through a massive transformation of 7,000 positions, and at the same time, we were laying to rest 4,000 of our greatest generation of Americans with our World War II and our Korean War veterans. This was a tremendous, tumultuous time for us. And then I went on and deployed to Iraq as an advisor, and I advised the Iraqi Logistics Chief of Staff and helped develop 33 battalions, 26 bases in support of operations in Iraq. I went on and served in Afghanistan in 2013. I was stationed at Ghazni Providence. I was the Deputy Task Force Commander of a Polish-Ukrainian brigade. 4,000 soldiers from Poland, Ukraine, and 16 Americans. And we suffered a lot of casualties and many injured. And then on August 28, 2013, a massive attack that took many lives and multiple injuries. Many of our Secretary of Defense, Ash Carter came over, Joe Dunford came over to give awards to our soldiers that performed so heroically that day. The members of this group of people have received some of the highest honors for heroism in Afghan history. Most notably, the Congressional Medal of Honor to our Master Sergeant Summerall. I will tell you, these experiences have led me to two things. I reflect in the preparation of today. I think about Teddy Roosevelt's speech he gave in 1910 at the Sorbonne in France called Man in the Arena. It speaks to giving everything you have, whether you win, lose, or draw. But you must stand for something and commit to it regardless of the outcome.
knowing to be a person of action and not just witnessing or judging. This led me to a quote that I have on my business card, and it truly reflects what I receive from Monmouth. And that is that all people possess greatness. It's up to us to help them see it. And when you dedicate your life to people in that manner, Dan, Brad, and Arstad, folks, all of us were brothers and sisters in arms as we went to school, not in arms, but as students here, as Scots. And it was a fantastic brotherhood that I will always remember and reflect so dearly. I will tell you that the courses like Judaism, Islam, Greek tragedies, and a heavy dose of experimental theory in labs helped me really enjoy the process of learning and problem solving. And it did me well. And I especially love being a fighting Scot. I did. I played football, I ran track. I love those things. I will tell you that there's probably been over 100 billion humans that have existed before us. And it's surprising that that mankind has survived this long. It's important to understand that we cannot have joy without struggle. It is these rare moments that go beyond the daily routine and the responsibility of life that we enjoy the most. Life isn't promised. I will say, 4 years ago, to folks that know me, my wife was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, and she had to survive. During COVID, we weren't able to see each other when she had to go for treatments, and she's been surviving skin cancer since. She was my personal caregiver as I was diagnosed with hemochromatosis. It's a genetic liver disorder which required me to either die or get a liver. And then eventually, the hemochromatosis, it prevents your liver from being able to expel heavy metals like iron, so it eventually takes its toll on your organs. So I, 6 months later, had heart failure and liver failure and kidney failure and required transplant, pacemaker, defibrillator, accoutrements, several stents, and a magic stick, which I can tell you later what that's. But I will tell you that journey doesn't end when you think that you've done everything you've had to do in your life, and you've studied and you've trained and you've led and you've survived. You still survive. You still have to survive today. You're not promised tomorrow. So it's about living every day for its moments and sharing the minutes that you have with people that you haven't seen in 20 years. And I won't take it for granted. I will tell you, I want to thank you for this honor. I know that my parents who are not with us anymore will be proud of me, but mostly of my family and the time I spent here. So thank you very much. Thank you so much.
President Kennedy once said that a nation reveals itself not only by the people it produces, but by the people it honors, by the people it remembers. That is true of organizations as well, and it is certainly true of Monmouth College. And I think what today's honorees reveal, they reveal many things about this college. But to me, the most powerful thing that they reveal is the fundamental mission, the essence of this institution, of how it changes for the better the arc of our students' lives, and through them changes for the better the lives of people across our nation and around our world. It is you who honor us as an institution tonight. Congratulations.
Let's give tonight's award winners
One more round of applause. It is occasions like tonight where we're reminded just how powerful a Monmouth College education is and just how big of an impact a fighting Scot can make.
We are all extremely proud of the accomplishments of each of our honorees and wish them continued success. Before we all leave, I want to thank everyone again for joining us this evening. I would encourage you to continue in the celebration tonight and throughout the weekend. You'll join us next at 7 p.m. in Doll Chapel. It has been relocated to Doll Chapel for a special concert from Monmouth's own Ross Clayton, class of 2012. The Spirit Shout will be held at 8 p.m. at April Zorn Memorial Stadium and will conclude, as always, with a great fireworks display. Or, apparently the fireworks will not happen this evening. We do, though, hope to see many of you tomorrow's events as well. And as a reminder, the game doesn't begin until 2 o'clock p.m., but make sure you join us on campus early as we have an excellent schedule of events planned. Many thanks again for joining us. Congratulations to all those being honored this weekend, and have a great homecoming. Thank you.